Hello, I hope you're all okay. I'm down on the allotment this morning. It was a lovely sunny day when I left, and now it is completely clouded over and the clouds are out. They're looking pretty dark. So I'm hoping that it doesn't rain on me while I'm down here, but I've got a few things to do. I'm trying not to get sidetracked with the jobs that obviously need doing down here, like the weeding and the pulling out of things and the tidying up, because I've got my last plantings from my greenhouse to go in today. So I went on holiday for 7 days. So I tried not to start anything new before that because I wasn't sure it was going to survive. So I just had the few things that I did, and I just thought if they survive, they survive. If they don't, they don't. So my pumpkin survived. I had some strawberries that survived. Some of my peppers and my chilies, the best ones, didn't survive, and my spares did. So I've got ones around this sort of size. They're not labelled because they're my spares, so I don't really know what they are, but I'm going to get them planted, and then that means my greenhouse is clear and I can start again with sowing, because I did have a bit of a stop on it while I was going on holiday. So I want to get all of those in. I've only got a certain amount of time, so I need to really focus on what I can do and leave the weeding for the next couple of days. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this side of the mini polytunnel with soil from over here, and then I'm going to plant my peppers and my chilies in there, and then that's one job done. Okay, so I've just put my 8 plants in here in rows. I don't know which ones are which. Some are peppers, some are chilies. Some of them are actually flowering. So, like I say, these were my spares. That one's not a bad size. I mean, they are quite small because they weren't the ones that I was thinking I was going to be planting. But we are where we are, and I'm sure they'll be fine. I haven't filled up the back with soil because I need to use that for another bed, and I've only got a certain amount. I'm being a bit careful on how much I'm using because I know I need to use it for some other things. So I'm going to leave that at the moment because I have only got these 8 to plant. I am going to mulch them similarly like I did with these. I just used some sawdust. So I'm going to use the stuff that was around the first early potatoes around these, and hopefully that will keep some of the moisture in. Okay, so that's all of the chilies and peppers in, so I've got 8 there, so that's not bad. Like I say, it'd be a bit of a lucky dip. I'm not sure what we've got there, but I did last year plant some things quite late and I was quite successful, so I'm holding out hope. I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, next job is the pumpkins. So they're going to be going in this bed where the first earlies were. Vince came up last night and dug the last ones up for our dinner. I have got a borage here that I planted, which I'm obviously going to leave because the pollinators will love that. But yeah, I'm going to see this bed here. It's got quite a lot of sawdust in it. It's not actually wood, so I think it'll be all right, but the soil is quite far down where I mulched it quite a bit, so I'm going to flatten it out, see what it looks like, and see if it'll be okay to plant. I think it'll be fine. I am just going to take some of these top bits of sawdust just to mulch around the peppers and the chilies that I've just planted, so I'm going to do that first. Flatten this out, take this plastic out. See, we're still finding plastic absolutely everywhere, and plant my pumpkins. I'm just going to cover the bed like this with the hay and the sawdust, and then that will just give it a good mulch, but I am going to water that first just to keep some of the moisture in. Okay, so that's all done, all planted, all watered, all mulched, ready to go. We'll see what happens. All I'm going to do now, I'm just going to flatten the bed that I'm going to put my pumpkins in, because it's all a bit bumpy and a bit uneven. I'm just going to flatten that down, plant the pumpkins, hope for the best. Okay, so they're all in place. So I've got 6 up along the arch, and then I've got 2 at the end here, just because that's how many I had. They're all a variety. Some of them are labelled, some of them aren't, so it's another bit of a lucky dip. I've got some space here now, which I have bought some bean seeds that Ali from Rusty Garden sent me. So they're bush beans. I've brought 3 varieties because I was hoping I'd have some space, and I think I'm just going to put them at the end here. Okay, so the pumpkins are all in, so I've got 8 more pumpkins in there. I'll just show you quickly how the other pumpkins are doing. They're doing really well. So this one here, which is the Turk's Turban, is really growing really fast, and it has got loads of pumpkins on there. It's got another one there. I think there was some, yeah, there's one on the bottom there. There was another one somewhere I saw. But anyway, that one's doing really well, as are these ones along here. They're all doing really well as well. This is a Turk's Turban as well, so it must just like where it is, because look, these are all growing really nicely as well. Really pleased with that. Okay, so here I've got the beans that Ali sent me. I've got my labels, so what I'm thinking of doing is just doing 3 different plantings here, and I'll use the cloches that I used on the strawberries because they're not cropping anymore, just to cover them up, give them a bit of protection while they're coming up. Okay, so she sent me Purple Queen, so I will put in, I'm going to do 3. Okay, then I've got Taylor, which again I'll do 3. Don't know how big these are. Okay, so that's 3 lots of beans planted in between my pumpkins. So I've got some dill that I wanted to sow in between these courgettes, but the bed does need a little weed, so I am going to do that because there's not that much to weed. A few pieces of bindweed, but I'm also just going to take off these bottom leaves of this courgette. So this has actually been cropping for quite a while now. As you can see, I've taken quite a lot of courgettes off it. The bottom leaves aren't looking great, so I'm going to take them off, save the energy into new fruit and the upper leaves, give it a bit of a weed in between, and then sow some dill seeds. Okay, so the plant now should be able to put all of its energy into new fruit and into these leaves, and we should get some more courgettes on there soon now. Now, just a little tiny bit of a weed in here, get rid of this bindweed. Okay, so I've just taken the lower branches, a lot of the courgettes off, given it a good weed, and now in between I'm just going to sow some dill seeds. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sprinkle a few in each gap, because it's unlikely that they're all going to germinate and make it. And then I can thin them out if I need to. Okay, so the last job that I wanted to get done today, I wanted to take these broad beans and field beans out. So there's hardly any left now on here. I mean, some of them actually dried on there. There's maybe a few here that I can still take, but I'm going to take all the plants down, and then I'm going to put some strawberries in this bed. Okay, so I have cleared this bed now. There is so many slugs in here, it is unbelievable. So I'm not going to plant my strawberries in there. I'm going to pick a different place for them. That just needs to be left open for a bit, I think. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant them at the front here, just in the front where I put these beans, because they're not going to crop this year anyway. It was really just to get them started. I bought them as plugs. So if I put them there, I can always move them in the autumn or next spring, but it just means that they're somewhere for now. So I'm just going to plant them here at the front. I'm not really too worried about spacing because they probably will be moved, but it just means that they can get going a bit before if I do move them. But look, me saying about not cropping, and they've actually got some strawberries on them, so I will cover that one, but the rest of them are just really smart. They're not going to do anything this year, I wouldn't have thought. So that's it. So my strawberries are in, so they're just along that line there. And then I've got my beans in, I've got my pumpkins in. Right over here in the mini polytunnel, I've got my peppers and my chilies now, my Lucky Dip chilies and pepper. I've sown some dill. I've weeded the courgette bed. I'm really actually quite pleased with what I've managed to get done today. I did only have a certain amount of time, so I did have to really be careful that I didn't get caught up in weeding and, you know, just doing odd jobs, because I wanted to get those things in. But I'm really pleased how it's gone today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.